Here. What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. February 16, 2021, man. Days are just gelling together right now. Especially when you're snowed in, iced up. I hope you guys had a great Monday. Very high scoring slate last night. Very high scoring. James Harden leading the pack, 72 and a quarter. No surprise there. I was all about that game just being an absolute slugfest. But I'll tell you what, for a slugfest standpoint, a game to put up 260 plus real points. If you look at the Kings side, it was Whiteside and like everyone else, right? Like no one here was like a slate breaker. And if you had like Fox, you might have been underwhelmed. Hassan Whiteside with no Rashawn Holmes, the play of the day, definitely had a little bit of that pre-flop, and then throughout this slate, as news came out, I took advantage as best I could of the Whiteside news. Try to turn some McGee into Whiteside where I could, and then there was somebody else I had that I turned into Whiteside, and I can't think off the top of my head who it was. I had another punt center. I think it was Bradley. I had some Tony Bradley with Embiid out, and I was like, you know what? Was it Bradley? I don't know. Anyway, but the whole slate was nuts. We also got word before the slate that we knew Oladipo was going to be out when we did the stream yesterday, but then Eric Gordon got ruled out, and we're like, wait a minute, Gordon's representing 20-plus real points, and this is the Wizards. And the Rockets came out, and they were a great four-man stack. And if you threw in Boogie like I did as a tier 1, he kind of poo-pooed on the party. Just 20 minutes, still a point per minute for everyone coming at me like I'm Boogie's agent. Still a point per minute. But the other 4 Rockets were the way to go, and I had a ton of lineups. I mean, this was probably the core of my lineups last night were the Rockets, but a lot of it did have Boogie. So I had to compensate for the DeMarcus Cousins exposure, but I was able to do so because the top list of my guys, like the John Walls and whatnot, got there. Westbrook and Bradley Beal, big games from them. Westbrook, you might have got spooked off of him, minutes monitored pre-lock, but it ended up being a fine play. Him and Beal combined for a buck 13, and then Rui Hachimura joined the party. Davis Bertans and Mo Wagner, who the first half looked sus. We talked about his foul propensity against Boogie. That's what happened. But then Boogie was not part of the rest of the game, and Wagner was able to come in at $3,200 and capitalize. And I had some Wagner JaVale McGee combos that some of those McGees I was able to turn into Whiteside, but it wasn't as much as I should have, right? But yeah, what a high scoring slate. Then Joel Embiid gets ruled out, and Ben Simmons, who scores all of his points in the paint, going against a team that feasts, has Rudy Gobert, one of the best in the paint defenders statistically, and Ben Simmons has an incredible performance, 40 plus real points, 12 assists, almost triple double, 74 DKP. Tobias Harris with a 60 bomb. Dwight Howard. Dude, 32 for him with a double-double. So the Sixers did exponentially better than I would have ever guessed pre-flop without Embiid. I knew their defense would take a tick, but the Jazz at home have just been elite. And the Jazz at home still won this game by double-digit real points. So they're still the team to beat. But the Sixers came out and kind of overperformed from my expectations. I didn't have much of the Sixers outside of a Bradley and a couple of Dwight Howards. I didn't really swap to Ben Simmons or anything like that because I didn't expect that game to be what that was. So I missed out on that. But I did have some Jordan Clarkson. Check out this Klay Thompson-esque stat line for Jay Clark. 40 real points, no boards, 1 assist for 48.5 a DKP, a couple steals in there. I saw that stat line. I was like, man, he had a Klay Thompson game. The rest of the Jazz, I guess, suffered because Clarkson thrived. Donovan Mitchell, certainly somebody expected 40-plus fantasy points from, but you can only your ceiling can only be so high if Clarkson's out here representing 40 real points. So if you guys had some Clarkson, you were happy. Unfortunately, I was a tier 1 exposure on Donovan Mitchell, so him having a floor game because of that wasn't fantastic. We look at the Cavs and Warriors game. The Cavs threw us Torrey Prince out. In addition to earlier in the day, we learned that Andre Drummond wouldn't be part of the rotation going forward. I core valued Jetty Osman. That was nice. I had a lot of Jared Allen, which at the end of the day, his score is just kind of whatever for 6'9", 6'7". I didn't have Sexton. On the Warriors side, I had a little bit of Steph Curry, a little bit of Oubre. Draymond with a massive game. He made bigger waves last night for his post-game press conference. I don't know if you saw clips of that. And then Eric Pascal, 18 minutes on Pascal. Look what he does. So this should ensure that in another slate or two, you might be chalk, right? But him and Kenrich Williams, man, they like to be bums, and then they'll come and have these big games out of nowhere. Pacers and the Bulls. That game got fun. Doug McDermott was rolled out, so TJ McConnell drew a start with Malcolm Brogdon, and then Brogdon is some bonus. So we've been waiting on this game for a while, if you're me. Combined for 105 fantasy points. McConnell got there. Miles Turner was fine, but with all the value at center today, anyone over like 5K at center was completely irrelevant. On the Bulls side, Zach LaVine, 9-2, he wasn't really a player. Thad Young, I kept some Thad Young exposure. We talked about that Pacers center spot had just been really, really fruitful to opposing bigs, but I was a little bit spooked, so I had to step backwards because of Wendell Carter Jr. being active. I still had some Thad Young, but it wasn't going to be as much as I would have had. But in this game, Patrick Williams got injured, and Thad Young got 30 minutes anyway. So something to watch there. If Patrick Williams and Larry Markkinen are going to be out going forward, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step backward for the Bulls. Miami Heat and the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard was rolled out on our stream, so I boosted Jimmy Butler as a tier 1 for me as well. He crushed it, 65 fantasy points, triple-doubled. Bam, I mean, what an irrelevant 58 from Bam, right? 8,300 from the center with all the value he had today. That's crazy. But we did, I think we talked about Bam's assist prop, and he hit at 7. Tyler Hero was a solid play. And then on the Clipper side, Marcus Morris with back-to-back big-time GPP performances. Lou Williams, I was high on him, obviously now without Kawhi, without Paul George, and without Patrick Beverley. Terrence Mann, Zubac, another value center that crushed it. So it was just a crazy high-scoring night because a lot of low-priced guys went bananas. And I didn't even mention Julius Randle, 44 real points last night in his bid to be an NBA All-Star, 64 DKP. Big night from him. The Hawks fired back with Capella having 15 and 18 in 36 minutes. That game outscored the total pretty handily. So it was just a really high-scoring night across the board. Hopefully you guys made out alive. It looks like some of you guys did have a good chunk of the Whiteside stuff. And Whiteside, if you had Whiteside, Jetty Osman, as chat says, you were set up for success. Let me pull up the Discord. Why does the Discord keep coming to the main? All right, let's pull Raj in here. I'll get caught up on chat. Andre Roberson's available to make Nets debut on Tuesday. How is he ready instantly? But Iman Shumpert's just like, I don't know yet. Was Roberson just like in great condition?
Yo.
How you doing?
I mean, it looks like you have to score 500 points to win a tournament. Yesterday was 100% the highest points play ever.
Think so?
In the history of DFS.
What was first? What was first? Like 400?
FanDuel. I want to say FanDuel was like 450, 60, something stupid.
That's up there. I mean, we've seen So it might be per capita the highest score. I didn't really think of it like that, but it probably was.
Yeah, I just think so much value, like all the way off.
Yeah.
And but we chose to play Harrison Barnes, and I don't know why.
Nah, I mean all the King, like if you look at the Kings total, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think only one player from the Kings was a solid fantasy play, and then you may not think it was Whiteside at that. So,
fact.
And
I didn't think the Clippers could score that much with Lou Will only having like 18 real life points. They scored 125 points, and he only had 18.
Yeah, like I said, Miami's defense feels better than it is in practice.
Yeah.
Anyway, live chat is popping. Shout out to everyone. I hope you guys are all warm. Russell Miller, Chronic, Adam Shockley, Ben Snappin', Sway McThunder, Russ and Chronic fighting over who was first. James Fenner, Marvski, Shout out to you guys. Go and hook me up with a personal lineup, brother. Real talk. I don't just run one lineup. Peter Dobush. What's up, Pete? Says, crazy night last night. I just wish I pivoted to Ben Simmons from Donovan Mitchell. Oh, well. Had 100% of Whiteside and Jetty Osman. That's really, really good. Missed out on the Whiteside. Only played on FanDuel. Yeah, on FanDuel, I mean, in the pre-lock, we talked about Whiteside potentially open up because of Rashawn Holmes' Q tag. But the thing, if you're on FanDuel, there wasn't really a lot of pivots. Like, if you're stuck with Whiteside.
One, if you played Cousins, you were screwed. If you played Cousins, he just trashed me. You never play Cousins again. Dude's just dead to me. Stop defending him, Glenn.
I didn't have him in the DK cash line, so don't come at me. Miss me. I did have him at tier 1.
You were good Cousins. Yeah,
I had him at tier 1. He still was a point per minute, so miss me with that.
I don't care about points per minute. I just don't care about points per minute. I just really don't. If you're not playing 30 minutes, I don't care about your points per minute. At that price, it's just so stupid. But yeah, shout out Whiteside.
I don't care if you tell me Boogie. I mean, I had him at 25 minutes, so it's not even like I expected 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If you tell me Boogie,
John Wall went all the way off, and he didn't even matter.
Yeah, he didn't. Because Ben Simmons.
Ben
What's up, Chris? Chris said when you starting. I had actually scheduled today's stream 10 minutes later, because I don't. My entire state is just like they're losing their minds out there. And I open Facebook, dude. There's people without power for like 2 days now, and I'm not even making fun of or light of the situation. There's people that have been without power for 2 days. There's people like there's like a bartering system for firewood on Facebook right now, and people are just like lighting fire.
What's the weather? What degrees Fahrenheit?
Right now, let's see, Waco, Texas, temperature. Pretty sure it's like 19. Yeah, 19 degrees right now. It hasn't been above freezing in a couple days. It looks like tomorrow.
Y'all shut that. That's a joke on Twitter. Yeah.
No, the joke on Twitter. Like, don't get me wrong. I get it.
Y'all shut down for 9-degree weather, but y'all don't shut down for a pandemic. That's the degree. That's the joke. Y'all shut down for 19 degrees.
Okay, listen here, Canada. The joke is people think we're shutting down for like an inch of snow. That's not really the case. Shutting down because the highway is a block of ice, and this state doesn't have the equipment. They don't have salt trucks. They don't have plows. Yeah, like you would think you see some Proud Boys out there with a bulldozer clearing out streets right now. I don't know where they're at. I saw some videos of like kids skiing on I-10 in Houston with just drinking beers on pickups. Like, I've seen that. But
you need to win the tournament and buy a snowmobile.
No, it's the rolling blackouts though. Like I guess the people that provide energy were not prepared for this, so they're picking like preferred areas to serve. So they're talking like places that have hospitals and stuff like that. So by design, they're cutting powers to other parts of the grid in a strategic rolling fashion, like an hour of no power here, and then we give them power, and then an hour of no power there. Somehow I've been fine. Like, I haven't been affected, but I feel like I'm the only person I know that hasn't. Like, I've been chilling in 70-degree heat since like Sunday.
What's the food looking like?
The food ain't looking great.
Still there.
I mean, we're playing DoorDash roulette right now, and we haven't had a successful order in like 3 days. Oh. But I'll take it, right? Last night we made some noodles and like put butter on it, right? Like, but I'll take that. If I have
struggle's real right now.
If I have a shelter, I have a heat. I can play Fortnite, DFS. Like I have everything I need. So I'm just blessed. I'm accepting the blessings here. But yes, some meat.
But
My goodness,
you're craving a large pizza or like a double burger or something.
Bro, stop it! Stop it!
You're ready to go. Extra cheesy.
What's up, Matthew?
Extra pepperoni.
Matthew Ortiz. I've been averaging 365 all month. Yeah, man, it's high scoring. DFS is just higher scoring. NBA is higher scoring than it used to be. And I think as long as there's like really sharp people putting out content and supplying the masses, I think it's gonna continue to be hard. And it is what it is. I would like to see sites try and offer some more level playing fields. I've been saying it forever. People, we love snake drafting, right? Everyone signs up for 100 fantasy leagues a year in NFL just for the thrill of drafting. And then FanDuel and they've tried the drafting format, But it's not fun because there's no salary cap. If you got me in some 10-man salary cap DFS drafts every day, meaning no one could have the same lineup, but I'm also not pressured just to take LeBron, or in baseball, like I just don't Mike Trout, Harper. Like, give me salary caps, give me something to work with, and then that's when I think it becomes fun again for the most part. Right now, it's just a grind, keeping up with the news and going for it. It doesn't feel as fun as it used to. But I still love it. What's up, Crispy? What's up, Gun? Please stay warm. You heard things are paying off again after last night. 368 on DraftKings with no Simmons or Whiteside. Keep up the good work. I may try baseball this summer. I definitely hope you guys do give baseball an honest look. I also think basketball is so weird because I think it's like, I think it's a sport that you can't quantify the crowd importance, right? The adrenaline that like you're running shuttle runs for an hour. Like, the adrenaline that a crowd gives. Like, think about John Wall's performance last night. Now put a full arena of fans there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, does it go to another level?
Fact. And I think star players, the reason why the star players is they do well under pressure and with fans in the building screaming at or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think role players are playing better now. I think the reason why I think they're higher scoring is because role players are having bigger games with no fans. Like, star players are still getting you the 60, 70-point games. But it's these role players, these 4K guys, who are giving you, 40-some nights and, like, kind of these huge nights. So I think when their fans are there, they're not kind of used to the badgering of fans and stuff, and I think it'll go back down.
Yeah. What up, Quan? What up, A-Town Down? Hopefully you guys are doing all right. Who else we got here? Got me a takedown last night, scoring 381.75, and even had Fox. Nice work, A-Town. Kyrie got ruled out when I went live, chat. What's up, The Pivot? How are you doing? Mopar. I was drunk last night and bet 300 on the over for Gobert 1.5 assists. Talk about a sweat. Fam, what are you doing? What are you doing? Dougie Fresh. FanDuel's windmill $100 single entry week is as big as, like, it's only blah, blah, blah. Okay, nice. I forgot. What's up, Tall the God? What up, Josh Redfoot? Says, oh man, no Irving Harden crush spot. I think the Nets could get blown out, y'all. I think they could.
Yeah, man. Very possible.
What's up, G Yali?
Or they keep it close.
Maybe we'll see. I don't want to doubt Harden, but that defense, it didn't get better. It might with Andre. Apparently, they signed Andre Roberson yesterday, and he's available to play today.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if there's just like some bubble of athletes running wind sprints, but for those of you guys that aren't familiar with Roberson had like zero offensive skill ever, but he was hidden between like Westbrook and KD, and his role was to be the shooting guard defender, right? He was like Iman Shumpert with like less offense, and he was just a stocky dude, and he would play great defense. But this was years back. Then it was an ACL or an Achilles. He had some big injury that kept him out for like 2 years. So we'll see if he's got the same pep in his step. But obviously the Nets are looking for anything they can do to make that defense any better. So they go out and they sign Shumpert and Roberson to try and piece together something. I still think, like, I'm wondering if there's some center out there that exists that they can actually afford. I've heard them attached to like Drummond rumors, but I can't think in my head what kind of assets they would put together that they have left after the Harden trade. Russ says
the salary.
I like if you could finesse Cleveland to like cover it, but they don't have assets to do it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Russ says I was late swap 1v1 pivot off of Fox to Simmons for the difference of 27th versus banking the $600 last night. Man, when we look back at it, sure, it makes sense. Like, Ben Simmons without Embiid does well, but I would have overthought that every time. Like, I can't even pretend. Like, I would have been like, Ben Simmons scores most of his points in the paint. Rudy Gobert is an elite.
Yeah,
and nope.
Like Fox in the other spots, Kyrie, I wasn't getting Ben Simmons.
I mean, so if you guys did make that move for Larry, it's like, dude, this one's to you. I don't think I would have ever been able to allow my mind to justify that, and I would have just put the Jazz to smoke them. I would have never, if you set that line at 120 for the Sixers, I would have never sniffed. I would have been betting the PayPal account on the under, man. So kudos to you guys that jumped on this Simmons news. That takes some cajones. Anyway, G Yali, F Cousins. I'm done with Cousins. You already know Cousins.
Done with him.
He's about to hit one, y'all. I'm telling y'all.
No, I don't even care. I don't even care. Don't even care. Don't.
Thought Robinson came back from injury last season. He was hurt for over. Yeah, he was out for a bit. Anyway, man, you guys are awesome. Shout out to you guys. We got 90 plus before we even talked about the first game. I definitely appreciate that. If you guys were on the channel yesterday, I put up a first look for yesterday's slate. So a little bit of opening the curtain here. When I'm looking at my channel, I'm trying to wonder how to grow the channel, but stay motivated. And I'm very quick to stop doing like video, like an hour. I did an hour-long video where I did research, blah, blah, blah. I only had like 100, 200 views, and that was similar to baseball. So I'm trying to find my niche in my little corner of this space of DFS YouTube. And there's a lot of really sharp cats just pumping out content. And I don't think I'm going to be part of the rat race to be the first guy to put up a first look and just try to give you empty content instead of putting quality content. That's just always been my thing. I'd rather my stuff have substance than to just monotonously go over each position and then stuff doesn't matter. So one of the ideas I have is, Raj, I initially blew up by having night streams, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, like, live streaming is so much easier than prepackaged stuff. Like, if I record for an hour and then I edit, blah, 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 I just hit the live switch, let me go. I'm thinking maybe on the other side of the All-Star break, having a DFS tonight live stream. Like we wind down. I know you work, but I still have the time slot. But also still having this midday stream because this is a nice little spot. That way, I don't know. I feel like that would also be something that the channel could. It's also something like not a lot of other people are doing, right? Everyone's and their mother's gonna be live in an hour for DFS. So I don't know. I think that's something that I'm thinking about. Chat, if you guys think that's something you'd like, a night stream as well, just kind of a wind down, a little bit more laid back, but a soft first look at the next slate. What we used to do, what was initially this channel's foundation. You guys remember me and Chronic would do it every night. Let me know, and then I might start developing some concepts for that. Just trying to create something different. Like, I'm just trying to be different. If 50 of us are putting up first look videos or pics or something like that, I don't really stick out, and I don't know. It's hard to stay motivated, but look out for that. If that's something that you guys might be interested in, I think that is something that's a way I can be different. Anyway, we are going to chop up tonight's 6-game slate. We did get a couple games in the last couple days removed, right? Texas, as we alluded to, shut down. So the Mavericks, they canned 2 games. I think was 2 games. The Spurs are down with COVID, so a couple of their games got scratched anyway, and there would have been a likelihood that their home games get PPD'd as is. So today, as it stands now, is a 6-game NBA slate, and there's Harden without Kyrie, there's LeBron without AD, there's a couple of spots to target with high totals, so hopefully we can navigate through and have ourselves a pretty solid player pool penciled down that doesn't get impacted too much after some air and opportunity for news to shake the slate. The news to watch, the 3 p.m. Fantasy Labs tweet every day. I love, I think is it Fan that does these tweets? Shout out to Fan. News to watch, LeBron probable, OG Anunoby doubtful, Monte Morris questionable, Alex Caruso probable, and then we got news that Kyrie is out and Andre Roberson active to make his debut tonight. So I wonder if KD had something to do with that signing. Old teammate there. But I also remember that there was a chippy part where Roberson and KD got into it when KD went back to OKC. And wasn't it Roberson that they went forehead to forehead barking at each other? So I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. Chat, what do we got here? Ben Simmons was 1 rebound away from the first 40-point triple-double since 68, and Wilt still dang. Gee, Yali, I think you should do a later video going to lock. I can't do that. Well, first of all, with the spirit of what I just said being to grow the channel, in an hour, there's going to be some really sharp cats. Sal Noah, Osmo. There's going to be so many people on the airwaves that that's just, I don't need to be part of the rat race for that. Like, those guys got you covered. But I also have a commitment to the RunDFS.com VIP Discord the 2 hours before lock. I have to make sure my spreadsheet is as sharp as possible because I'm still a player. Like, some of those guys might be content creators first. But I'm still a DFS player. What up, Caesar? Soft night stream and afternoon stream would be awesome. I'm thinking that might be the way to go. Bring back the night streams. All right, I might dabble with that one. Let's get cranked up, though. Game number 1. Finally, the Denver Nuggets at the Boston Celtics. 7 p.m. tip-off time. The Denver Nuggets projected starting 5. Jamal Murray, Monte Morris, Michael Porter Jr., JaMychal Green, and Nikola Jokic taking on Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Semi Ojeleye, and Tristan Thompson. 221 total. Boston favored by 2. Boston coming off a lackluster game against the Wizards where Kemba Walker was really the only guy that showed up and contributed. I think this is one of those games that might get lost in the sauce because of like the Lakers are in a great spot without AD to just soak up LeBron to soak up 10K salary and some of his supplementary plays that like a lot of eyes are on James Harden. Do people forget about Jokic? Or is Jokic on the road against the Celtics? Like, is this going to be a spot where people forget about him? And think about the minutes that he might potentially play if this game stays neutral. Paul Millsap got hurt last game. He's down. Will Barton's out. Gary Harris is still out. So this team's going to be without a lot of starters. And Jamal Murray hasn't been 100%. So Jokic, all right, I got him right now for 38 minutes. I don't think I've ever projected him for that many minutes. Like, and if he's going to play that many minutes with the uses that he's been doing, giving you a strong shot at 60 fantasy points, I kind of think I should be looking at him a little bit stronger than maybe I would have an hour ago without Kyrie. So because I think there's for me a range of outcomes where a lot of people are going to try and get Harden and LeBron, right? Just their opportunities, their uses tonight. And I'm wondering if there's some merit in having Jokic instead of one of those two or even both of those two. So we'll start with that conversation. Then JaMychal Green's pretty cheap. I got him for 28 minutes. I think he'll be a solid stocking stuffer. I don't have the highest expectations. I do think there's a range of outcomes where, 25 fantasy points, whatever, would take it, or it could be 20. Michael Porter Jr. seems like he has a chance to be a role player and not really get benched, right? Mike Malone's quick to hook him, but there's not really depth to accomplish that. And then Jamal Murray has dropped to 6,500 on FanDuel. So I think the Nuggets offer several interesting clicks. On the Celtics side, Semi Ojeleye is still pretty cheap, Raj. 3,800 on FanDuel, 3,300 on DraftKings. He's drawn the start lately. I don't know if Stevens will be looking to switch things up going forward, but Ojeleye has a couple starts under him in the last, 3 games for the Celtics. Why is this going so gosh darn slow? Dude, there we go.
Got it.
I've never seen this page load this slow. I usually preload all this stuff before I go live, but I guess I forgot about DraftKings. Here we go. Semi Ojeleye, 3,300. I think he's still like really, really cheap. 34 and 24, 2 of the last 3 games. 31 minutes against Washington after those 2 games, I probably would have been nearly all in. But everyone on the Celtics just came out flat that game. So I'm willing to maybe forgive him at that price point and just kind of put him in the pool. I definitely wouldn't core him by any stretch of the imagination. But if you're going to get an opportunity at 30 minutes at $300 above min on DraftKings, $300 above min on FanDuel, I still think you got a puncher's chance to accomplish some greatness for DFS. Tatum, I saw a report before I went live that Tatum was talked about he hasn't been breathing the same since COVID. That obviously wasn't the last game. He's had some big games since coming back, but that's just I don't know. It's just unique to read that because I haven't read a lot of players discuss how they feel after COVID, and I saw that little blurb. And then the rest of the Celtics are just here, and I think the Celtics are going to be one of those teams that just, for me personally, fall flat when they're full staff. Maybe everyone's just 25% usage rate, and I'm hoping no one breaks the slate here and I go elsewhere. I do have Tatum at 46 fantasy points, and I got Brown at 40 fantasy points. Maybe at 7.8K on DraftKings, Jaylen Brown should be a deeper look. But for me, I'm just thinking about maybe penciling Ojale in the value pool. And then I got to meditate on Jokic. What are you doing with Jokic?
We got LeBron on the slate. We got Harden with nobody else. We got Giannis. Jokic might get lost in the sauce. Only running 3 lineups today, 3-entry world. I probably don't get to him. I mean, this game is just a cross-off for me. In a 6-game slate, I'm going to look at it as a 5-game slate. He's fine. He can get there. I just think it's going to be hard to get there. Forget the cross-off. Tristan Thompson, I think, is the elite value play. No Daniel Dice today. I think he's going to see a lot of minutes. Could see 30-plus minutes. You give Tristan Thompson 30-plus minutes, usually a point-per-minute type of guy. So give me Tristan Thompson as a value center at 4,700.
I guess. No more. So Tristan Thompson, a little bit stockier, right? If he's got to go out there with Jokic, that would make me like Jokic a little bit more. Thompson's more of a really good rim protector. I guess you put him in the pocket as a value guy. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm not as enamored with the word elite, but I'll have him. Yeah, I'll probably end up having more than I want.
JaMychal Green.
Yeah, JaMychal Green.
JaMychal Green.
Yeah,
value spot. I'm probably staying away from the studs in this game, the Jaylen Browns, the Tatums, the Kembas, the Jamal Murrays, and Jokic's I'm not going to play. But give me those 2 value guys. Michael Porter, 5,500 is intriguing, but I do respect Boston's defense. Probably not going to get there. So yeah, just the 2 value guys for me for this game.
I think we might sleep on Porter just a little bit, but for the most part, I think this game I'm going to be soft on. I think I'm willing to put this game to the side, go through the rest of the slate, pull what I like with higher confidence, and then if I circle back to this game and pluck some names out. 6,500 for Murray on FanDuel at 37 minutes. I just feel like every now and then that'll pop, and I might want a piece of that. But for the most part, I think Jokic is the question mark. Chat, I'd love to know where you guys have Jokic ranked in the grand scheme of today's slate. We still got Giannis on deck. We got Harden with no Kyrie, LeBron with no AD, Damian Lillard exists. Cat versus not AD. There's several ways to go today, so I'm wondering if Jokic falls through the cracks in a less than stellar team defensive matchup. On the road this season, Jokic averaging 56 fantasy points. So I mean that's still a high floor, but if he stayed at 50 today, I wouldn't be there. And I have him for 56 almost exactly in my conservative projections. These you guys got in the live YouTube chat. Mopar says, "What if I told you Andre Roberson got me negative half a fantasy point in 40 minutes once in an overtime game? Would you believe me? 7 turnovers, 1 rebound, 1 steal. Roberson doesn't have a floor." Yeah, don't play Roberson. He's just somebody that's there for defense. Sway says, "I'm lower than Jokic than the field." All right. How many DFS you giving Green? How many DFS you giving Green, says G. Yali. I don't know if I'm there that. Pete says, "Robert Williams over Thompson for me." I do like the thought of Robert Williams coming off the bench, less overlap with the starters there, assuming he's off the bench and not TT. I think the Time Lord at a cheaper price point certainly has the opportunity to maybe assume a little bit larger usage. So I like that call. Everyone's on Phoenix, though. Ayton, not 50-plus in forever. Nets are the Nets. Jokic 10.6 on FanDuel versus a banged-up Celtics front court, maybe 5% or less. Yeah, I think the field is all there. I think the question on Jokic, the way I phrased it, compared to the other options on the slate, I definitely think Jokic is the lowest owned stud, right? So if you're just looking for some leverage, I was just thinking, what is the validity and the merit? How strong are we thinking on Jokic here? Because it's likely going to cost us one of those big studs here, right? Andrew Collins. What's up, Andrew? Jokic averaging 1.81 DKP per minute versus Boston at 38 minutes. I like that. I like that call, Collins. A way to break it down. Jokic tonight going overweight. All right, Yali. I don't know what overweight is. 20% could be 3x the field, right? I don't know. Let's move on to the next game. Raptors at the Milwaukee Bucks. Project starting 5 for the Raptors. Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell, Pascal Siakam, and Aaron Baines taking on Dante DiVincenzo, Bryn Forbes, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez. We got a 236 total and a 6-point spread in favor of the home team Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks will continue to be without Drew Holiday. Middleton's had a couple of bad games here, but Giannis Antetokounmpo has really been picking up the slack. And he's had some monster games, and he continues to be like the highest scoring player on most of the slates he's on. If not the highest, he's always top 3. And he's just like a floor that no one's just taking. 70, 65, 74 in the last couple games. And there's some guys that are just getting it done against bad teams. Like Giannis is out here getting it done against some tough matchups. OKC's whatever, but at Utah, at Phoenix, I mean, those are two of the premier defenses right now in basketball. And I think I'm going to the well here on Giannis. And I think Giannis is the fun pivot to a Harden, right? I think a lot of people are just going to blindly play James Harden at $200 cheaper. And I definitely think there's a range of outcomes that maybe is higher than people want to accept, that Giannis just straight up outscores Harden today. Because I just have this feeling that the Nets could get blown out here. And we'll see if Chris Paul has something for his old pal James defensively. So I like Giannis, and this might be the first time in a while I consider putting Giannis at tier 2 to tier 1 exposures. And I almost never will go up on the highest price guy as a tier 1. So somebody that's sticking out to me quite a bit. I could also justify some Middleton. I think Middleton needs to get back to that 40 plus, but I think it's coming. On the Raptors side, in chat, I noticed some people were on like Fred VanVleet and the guards and wings here, the pace-up matchup. And then when Kyrie got ruled out, a lot of that Kyrie may now become some more James Harden or more of these Raptors. I'm curious to see how that plays out. But the Raptors are in a spot going against the team, against the Milwaukee Bucks that like to run one of the fastest pace in basketball. If we go to that RunDFS.com team metrics tab, the Bucks have the right now the 6th fastest pace, 101.1 possessions. So it's going to be a pace-up spot for the Raptors. And you're going to have to score. You're going to have to keep up. And the way to score against the Bucks is to chuck threes. And I think a guy like Fred VanVleet, maybe some Norman Powell, would have to show up and show out. Chris Boucher, 7-2 on FanDuel, 6-6 on DraftKings with Anonymity doubtful. And it looks like Watanabe is at least questionable. With those two out, Boucher still has an opportunity for deeper minutes. Yeah, Watanabe hasn't played since the 8th, and he's doubtful as well. So with those guys probably out, Boucher still has that shot at 25 minutes. He only got 18 against Minnesota with 3 fouls, but prior to that, 25, 24, 29 minutes. Maybe 6-6 on DraftKings, a puncher's chance at 30, 40 fantasy points, maybe surprises people. Maybe him and Bobby Portis go after each other. No warm and fuzzy on that name or that click, but certainly somebody that at this price point on DraftKings, I feel like I don't want none, especially if I'm not going to pay up at center. But I think Norman Powell and VanVleet are just kind of the two names I'm most curious with early on with the Raptors. And then Raj, Giannis, man, does he fall through the cracks to you? Like, where are you at on Harden, like, kind of now? Like, is Harden your number 1 stud?
I think Giannis is my number 1 stud.
Okay, so that's where I'm at. Maybe I'm not as like cute as I think I am.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Giannis. I think this game is 4-quarter game, stays competitive. Anytime you give Giannis a full game, it just seems like his floor is 60, with that 70-point upside. So give me Giannis on an absolute tear recently. Milwaukee, clearly their defense taking a step back with no Drew Holiday, which makes sense. So I think the Raptors will score a ton of points. Milwaukee will be forced to score points. Give me Giannis. Middleton's had a couple down games, but I think it's a good bounce back spot for him. He's cheap at 75. Could be a 50 spot for Chris Middleton. So don't hate him at that price in tournaments. Raptors side, I mean, Kyle Lowry and Van Vliet are in a really nice price. Which one? I think you're kind of flipping a coin here. So give me both those guys.
I think
kind of
Van
rotate
Vliet's
in and out.
the one I want to.
Siakam, I don't love his price. A little more. Okay, I mean that's fine. Yeah, I mean again, I love both, but I can see Van Vliet just chucking it a little more than Lowry. But Lowry just gets those assists. And, I feel like his peripheral numbers are a little stronger. Siakam's 8.8 off FanDuel. Not the nicest price tag today, but I think he could get there for you. So have him in the pool. Norman Powell is really scoring dependent. At 6,500, he'll probably need 30 real life points to get to tournament value. Very possible, especially against Milwaukee. So I think you want him in the pool. I mean, this game kind of, like yesterday's Brooklyn Sacramento game, get a lot of pieces. I would have more than 2 guys from each team in one lineup, but just mix them in and out.
So I went to the on-off court tool on Fantasy Labs, took off Drew Holiday, put on Giannis and Middleton. Giannis had a 33% usage rate, 1.1 fantasy point per minute. The pace actually goes down a little bit. I'm willing to bet that has room to move up. Their offensive rating is fine. The defensive rating goes to 113, which would be bottom 10 in basketball. So, yeah, Drew Holiday's taking or representing a bigger hit than maybe I gave it credit for. So, yeah, I want to open up the Raptors here, but I definitely want these wing and guard shooters, these jump shooters here. The Milwaukee Bucks, pretty good at limiting points in the paint, so are the Raptors. But I think this Bucks offense is still extremely talented, spread out. I always love this stat. The Raptors are a team that give up a lot of blocks per game, and Brook Lopez every now and then he's going to pop off for 3-4 block games. So maybe on FanDuel he slides in as a surprise play. Centers against the Bucks as of late. Karl-Anthony Towns dropped 45 DKP in 34 minutes. Daniel Tice dropped 30 DKP in 28 minutes. Alex Len was a point per minute in 22 minutes. J-Val dropped 60.5 DKP in 34 minutes, 20 rebounds for him. Would never put Brook Lopez at 20 rebounds, but I think it's a better matchup than maybe perceptually for Brook Lopez and pushing it back a step for Bobby Portis. So those two guys will probably be on my sneaky radar for 100-plus lineups, the centers for Milwaukee. DiVincenzo, Bryn Forbes, I got them both at 30 minutes, chip in the chair, those guys, but no warm and fuzzies. See what you guys got on this one, chat. Anyone you really, really love here outside the obvious, let me know. Sway says Jokic is projected for about 25% on FanDuel. I guess that's about fair. We'll see if that tightens up as we get closer to lock. Ben Snapper says, I like Cat and Vando, same lineup. Jared Vanderbilt, okay. Boucher game, Giannis is my guy too. All right, so sometimes I feel like I'm being cute and thinking opposite the field. And I was like, yeah, maybe Giannis over Harden. But now I'm starting to wonder if I'm just a basic B. And everyone's on Giannis. What up, Conscious Machine? How you doing? Win big or play again. DJ Sponge to hit 5 threes. DJ Augustine to hit 5 threes. Is that what you meant by that? DJ Spung to hit 5 threes. I'm not sure if autocorrect hijacked your sentence there. Don't take all guns greatness without hitting that like. Man, I would definitely appreciate a couple thumbs ups on the video. Pete says Milwaukee has lost a couple games in the last week on the road. Now at home, rest has signed me up. Yeah, I think this game could be a shootout. 236 total, plenty to start with there. And like I said, I'm probably looking at Van Vliet. Van Vliet seems like he's a little underpriced for the minutes in this pace in this game total. So give me that. And then Norman Powell. No one wants to pay this price on Norman Powell, Rods. But this is like a game that kind of suits like what Norman Powell's upside comes from, right? He'll chuck a lot of threes, 4, 5, 9, 5, 3 ball attempts. He's definitely wanting to play inspired every opportunity without Anunoby. The minutes are deep. I think the pace-up spots, man, he has the upside. The last fast-paced team they went against, the Wizards, he chopped 47. So I'd like Norman Powell's. No one wants to pay almost $7K for Norman Powell, but I would not be stunned if he got it done today. So again, deep field tournaments, he's probably gonna make the pool for me, probably as a tier 3 introduction. DJ to hit 5 threes. DJ, to hit DJ Augustine. I wouldn't bet almost anyone, to hit 5 threes. Like, even Steph Curry to hit 5 threes would be like an uncomfortable sweat for me. So if you do mean DJ Augustine, I don't know if you're asking or if that's a question or a declarative statement. Am I missing? Maybe DJ's been sneaky at chalking.
That's a wild.
I feel like that's not what he means. DJ to hit 5 threes. Maybe autocorrect or some.
You better get some crazy odds for that one.
No, I feel like I'm not understanding what he said. Like there's no way that's what he means. Everyone's going hard, and that's what you. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Let's move on to the next game. Lakers at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Projects 35 for the Lakers. Dennis Schroeder, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, LeBron James, Markieff Morris, Marc Gasol taking on Ricky Rubio, Malik Beasley crossing over with Anthony Edwards. There's a person you want to fade today. His name start with the letter A. I'm getting the last name start with an E. No, okay. Jared Vanderbilt, Karl-Anthony Towns, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd. Raj, you ever seen the show Crossing Over with John Edwards? When I was a kid, and I'm talking like 20 years ago,
no.
It was like a syndicated television show. It was about like a psychic that would go into these live studio audiences and just like say random stuff. Like I'm feeling a message from somebody whose name starts with the letter D, and then he'll look at like a crowd of 50 people. Does anyone know anyone dead whose name starts with the letter D? And he would just like go off of that. That was a real thing. Like, people bought into that. Have heard very little about Harden from any DFS talents. Come on, buddy.
Show job.
So Anthony Davis is going to be out for a couple weeks, it sounds like. The Lakers, I swear they've been without AD for a while, and their strength of schedule is just like the bummiest of teams. And now it's more of the same, except they're on the road this time. Going against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves are one of the worst defenses in basketball. So I like the soft matchup. I like the no AD. LeBron James has another chance to continue his MVP campaign at 10-5, 10-1. I got him at 50-plus fantasy points on both sides. The T-Wolves are just one of the softest spots you can ask for. It's a 6.5-point spread in favor of the Lakers. We haven't really seen them covering much without AD. Matter of fact, I'm actually really curious to see their defensive efficiency without AD. It's got to be really, really lackluster. So let's go to the Lakers on-off court tool here. In general, we got defensive rating of 104. And then if we just take AD off for like LeBron here, it goes to 106. And LeBron's usage rate without AD is at 34%. Fantasy point per minute, a 41.1% assist rate. And I like numbers like that because... Because we do prop bet here. Assist 987. What is LeBron James assist prop today? If we go pull up Prize Picks and see if we can get a nice number on old Bronny. 8. Oof.
I go.
That's tight. I mean, I feel like he's gonna trip though.
Yeah,
I feel like he's gonna trip though.
Yeah.
He's averaging 8 assists on his season, so I'm basically asking him to overperform his season average without AD against the T-Wolves. Yeah, I'd probably take it. So one, LeBron James, like if you put him as a tier 1, it makes perfect sense, right? It's hard to project him for less than 50 if we got this game staying somewhat moderately close. Past him, we can make some cases for like a Schroeder. I got him projected for almost 30 fantasy points here. Kyle Kuzma's had a stretch of solid games, and there's a pretty significant price discrepancy between the two sites on Kuzma. He's 58 on FanDuel, but 7K on DraftKings, so maybe he becomes more of a FanDuel play than a DK play. If you look at his last couple games, I know there are some OT games, a lot of OT games here that might inflate some of these numbers, but 28, 36, 30, 30, 24, 20, 30. He's on a nice little stretch. So I think on FanDuel, he probably makes the player pool. Is 7K for Kuzma a little out of your price range, or do we consider the matchup and just say, hey, it could happen?
I'm definitely not playing 7K for Kuzma on DraftKings, on FanDuel, 5,800. He's fine. I wouldn't say an elite play. But I mean, I I would have some shares. I don't think I would fade him. I think Montrezl Harrell is interesting with no AD. Be out there to guard Karl Anthony Towns, even though he'll still struggle with it. I mean, maybe Marcus Gasol. Will we need to play extended minutes against Cat? One of those guys will probably play extended minutes
No,
for Cat.
it's not Marcus Gasol.
No?
We don't put extended minutes on Marcus Gasol ever, and especially against Cat.
All right, if Montrezl it is, then you get Montrezl 30 minutes. Don't mind him at that price, but LeBron's the one you want here. I think Cat is an interesting GPP play.
I do too. I agree with that. Like I think everyone
Yep.
I don't know. He could easily fall through the cracks here. At 9-3, the minutes I would like to see a little bit more minutes. And I think that's our big ceiling Cat games at 35, 36, 30, 37 minutes. He's only played a little over 30 since coming back from COVID. But I'm kind of with you. I think if the game's gonna stay close, he's gonna have to play up here and put on a solid performance here. I wouldn't go crazy with that hunch, but I'm gonna have him in the pool.
Yeah, I mean that's the guy. I don't think I'd want anybody else from Minnesota. No, I mean Lakers teams look really bad without AD. You saw what they did against the shorthanded OKC team, that Detroit team. So maybe that's a mistake. Maybe have some Anthony Edwards, 6K. He's gonna chuck. Maybe I think there's another guy in Minnesota that could go off.
Yeah,
with Cat.
I agree with that. I think so. For the first guy I would look at is Malik Beasley to perform. He's at 7K. Is that a price where I feel comfortable? No. Anthony Edwards, he's a fun rookie. I don't know if you guys watch his interviews or whatever. He's really fun, easy to root for. Could definitely see him playing up against LeBron or trying to play inspired basketball against LeBron. 6K, shot volume will be there. There is a range of outcomes where he could drop 30-plus fantasy points. But I get it. There's not a comfortable high floor click here. Everyone makes sense when you simulate it 100 times, but the range of outcomes is pretty volatile. I think for me, the bulk of my exposure from this game will be on the Lakers side. I feel like we get a higher predictive value of usage and impact and floor to ceiling ratio. And I think past LeBron, I think, like I said, Kuzma, I think Montrezl Harrell is in a really solid spot. No matter what the game script here without AD, I think if I put 25 minutes min on him against the Minnesota Timberwolves team, I think he has a shot to 1.2, 1.5x fantasy point per minute performance. So there are several guys I do like from the Lakers side. And then, like I said, Cat's just like a tier 3 hunch. But I definitely think you're on to something if one of these other T-Wolves help it stay competitive. We've seen these scrubs teams almost carbon copy, what the Strip Thunder team, the Strip Pistons team, they go against this Lakers team without AD, and we get some weird stuff happening. So definitely would not be stunned if a Rubio, Beasley, Edwards, or someone obscure off the bench had himself a solid game. But I don't want to get too stressed out there. Andrew Collins to 7K is too much for Kuzma, especially with Cat possibly soaking up rebounds. Yeah, 7K is a little on the uncomfortable side, but on FanDuel, I'd probably still put him in the mix. But I also think Kuzma, I don't know that I'd peg him as rebound dependent. Obviously, at 7K, I want every peripheral available. So yeah, but nonetheless, I feel more comfortable on FanDuel. Giuliano says TLC 30-plus minutes. Let's go. Tall says, wow, Harden's ownership is only at 13% right now. You got to believe it's going to be at least double that by lock. So I see a couple of you guys talking about how Harden's not that popular. I could see the field being sharp. And
field sharp, yeah.
I could see the field being sharp. I don't know if those numbers are prior to the Kyrie Irving news or had time to adjust to the Kyrie Irving news. But if we're all sharp and we're all thinking the same thing, at lock, if Harden's projected under 20%, you know me, I'm about to flip. I'm about to flip it, right?
Score 80. He's literally going to score 80 fantasy points. What's the most obvious play on the slate?
Yeah, right. It's just like how oftentimes I'll just doubt Bradley Beal against against the Suns for that matter. I remember earlier this season I was like, yeah, Bill against the Suns, I can stay away from it. It's Malik Beasley, not Malik Beasley, Mikal Bridges, Jesus.
Okay, yeah.
It's McCall Bridges' defense, and then Bradley Beal just goes bananas. Shadow
I will
says,
say Phoenix's defense the past couple games hasn't looked so great.
I think they're stepping it up. I think they're back to full strength. RJ Hampton or Campazzo, man, that's a literal coin flip. That's a coin flip. I don't have a beat on that one way or the other. Carter, that's a good question though. Mopar says Montrez is really in solid spot now. There's no AD there to block Kuzma's elbow from hitting his face again. Shadow, yo, Gun, what do you like more? Kuzma over 15.5 points or Harrell 14.5 points? Ooh, I think those are both really, really juicy. All I can do is just kind of tell you what my early projections have either at. I got Kuzma at 13.1 points and Montrez Harrell at 15 points. So Harrell projected to beat that line, but it's only by a hook. So there's no confidence there. Maybe look for PRA on Harrell, something soft. I don't know. I hate Kuzma with a passion. Next game on the docket, Oklahoma City Thunder. We got a bunch of 8 p.m. games, by the way. This whole slate's basically 8 p.m. Blazers at the Thunder. Projects 35 for the Blazers. Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Derek Jones Jr., Robert Covington, and they hate us because they ain't us Cantor. Revenge game. Taking on Kenrich Williams, Lou Dort, Justin Jackson, Darius Baisley, and Al Horford. A 225 total. The Thunder still without SGA, without Theo Maledon. Last slate, we saw Ham Diallo coming off the bench. We'll see if they opt to return to that lineup. This Thunder team is becoming the T-Wolves team from last year and the year prior, where it's just like, all right, who's going off today, boys? They're just taking turns, and they're super short. And their prices are still at, like, annoying areas where you have to consider them. Darius Baisley, I think, is the guy that I probably have the highest hopes for. Floor-ceiling ratio, and then, well, I guess Horford first, and then Baisley second. Yeah. Horford 6'9" on FanDuel, 7K on DraftKings. He's getting it done and not necessarily doing it in like 40 minutes either. The low end of what, 30 minutes, 28, 34 in OT games there. His usage and his fantasy efficiency is great. He's essentially playing point guard without SGA. His assist rate is high. Going against this Portland Trailblazers team, their defensive efficiency has plummeted without all of their stars. No McCollum, no Nurkic, guys like that. They have dropped to bottom 3 in points per 100 possessions. So Horford's in an elite spot, and so far, he might be my favorite center that we've talked about, points per dollar. And I'm also curious to kind of put a number on it. Now that we have a little bit of sample size going to the Thunder here, let's take off SGA at least. I don't even know if I want to cherry pick everyone, but we'll take off SGA, Maledon, George Hill, and then let's put on Al Horford. I'm curious to see what his assist percentage is in those minutes. It's got to be like 30-40%, right? Is that 37%? Rebound rate at 12%. 110 minutes of sample size on that. Does Horford have an assist prop? Let me see. Control F Horford. He does, and it's at 5. I would take that, right? 5 assists in this spot up against this defense. Yeah, I'd probably take the over on 5. Let me see what I even have him projected at, because I might hand tweak that myself. Horford, Al Horford. I got him at 5.1. I think 5 assists is a little soft. Nonetheless, the minutes. I don't think I'll ever get to 30-ish or more minutes, but Horford's in a good spot. The rest of the Thunder, man, what are you doing? Like we've seen the Justin Jackson game, we've seen the Kenrich Williams game, we've seen the Diallo game.
We've seen back-to-back Justin Jackson games. I think Justin Jackson might be another play. I mean, past 2 games he's done it against this Portland team. I think it's a good spot for OKC. I think this game stays close. I think I might go back to Justin Jackson. Back-to-back 20-point games. Another 20-point game, I don't think he's out of the question. So give me some Justin Jackson at a kind of a mid-tier value, 5,300. Give me Al Horford. I think Damian Lillard goes a little overlooked today with Harden, LeBron, Giannis. And Lillard, no McCollum against OKC. Like if McCollum was playing and he suddenly got ruled out,
yeah,
I think Lillard is
no, I agree with that.
He would just jump up, right? So I think he just McCollum's been out for quite a while, and Lillard has gotten there, but he's had like he's had one 60 point. I would assume he would have more 60-point kind of DFS game. He's had one on FanDuel over his past 10. But I think he has that upside. He should be good for 50, and at 9.5, you'll take that all day. So I think Lillard in tournament is intriguing.
So when it comes to players above 9K, Lillard for me is my second best value behind Giannis. So I kind of agree with that sentiment. That was prior to the Kyrie news. But yeah, I could definitely see taking 50 plus from Lillard at under 10K. I think it's a solid spot for him to do that. His usage is up. Gary Trent Jr., another guy I like. Deep minutes for him. Might be second or third on the team in shot attempts today. And then Kanter's interesting. 30 minutes on him. He's essentially the same price-ish. $300 margin of difference on FanDuel. How many times are you playing Kanter over Horford, and how often do you see that being the right move?
Kanter's just reminded me of Boogie these past couple games. He got there against Cleveland. After that, he's giving you okay performances. How much Kanter? On DraftKings, I'll probably have too much Tristan Thompson as a value guy, so he'll take a good chunk. I probably want more. It's essentially the same, Horford and Kanter. Maybe a little more Kanter, like 10% more, if that. But I wouldn't mind just keeping them the same.
You said a little bit more Kanter than Horford?
I think so, because I just think Kanter's going to play more minutes. I think his minutes are more. I don't think it's 23.7 minutes.
I was going to say maybe, but I don't think it's that much more. Like his minutes haven't been deep either. Horford, last 5 centers against Portland. Porzingis 33 DKP in 32 minutes. Joel Embiid 53 and 35. Vucevic 61-42. Drummond was a point per minute. Man, did you know the last 5 games the Bucks have been like just bleeding to centers, man, and that involves like a Rudy Gobert 50 bomb.
Bro, they've been bleeding points.
Not playing Aaron Baines, but that's a fun fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I when it comes to defensive backsliding, I see that happening there, but I get it, man. There's no fans. You're a short off season. Bucks were one of those teams that went into the bubble, into the playoffs. This time of year, they're usually on All-Star break anyway. Like, there's no... I get it. I understand the burnout from some of these guys. It's tough.
I don't think Drew Holiday is that's arguably the best defender in the league, like guard defender in the league. So, being out with the COVID situation. So, it's a big hit for their defense.
Chad, what are you guys doing with the Thunder? What up, George Deli? Echo? All right, we're good. South says Horford's going to defend Kanter. I don't think that would push me away from him. I don't like Lillard with Dort defense. Man, Damian Lillard is just Damian Lillard, bro. I wouldn't.
It's Lillard. I do like Dort. Dort's an interesting value play. That's another guy. He's a guy who can get you like a 30. Like these OKC guys at 5K. Like either him, Justin Jackson, like Kenrich probably get you, 6-7x their price tag value.
I would. For me, there's like still a Thunder lineup that could start Diallo and Roby. Like, it just seems like this lineup isn't the lineup, but I guess whatever works, don't change it. Like if this lineup could beat the Bucks, why not run it back at home against the Blazers? I don't know. The Thunder are very frustrating for me because it just seems like a volatile range of outcomes for every single player, even Horford, but Horford being my favorite option here. But Bazley too easily could drop 40 plus in this spot. The Blazers defense has been really, really bad. What's up, Jim? Hey, Gun, you avoid that bad weather. How do you feel about Forbes for value? I have not avoided the bad weather. I have avoided a lot of the symptoms of the bad weather, i.e. power. Definitely haven't avoided food shortage. That's annoying. But for the most part, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you looking out for me. How do you feel about Forbes for value? Yeah, I think he's a chip in a chair. As long as Drew Holiday's out, looks like the 25-plus minutes could be there for him. I think that game scores a little bit more than maybe the field might perceive on the surface. So, no, not like a stone lock or anything like that. But if he's in the pool, he's in the pool. Pete says that mid-range shot will be open all day for Al Horford. He will smash. Justin Jackson's terrible. I played him and got a -2 a couple years back. So that's a hard no on him. Canada loves OKC. I'll have some. Okay, I like that. Russ says Gunn. Dort has actually been playing the most touches and minutes at the point guard position in this situation. Really? Like, are we seeing that in like his assist? Let's see, Dort. It could be a really sharp observation there. 2 assists, 1 assist, 4 assists. Man, I feel like so if you're bringing the ball up court, I guess by default you're the point guard, but like I feel like it ends up in Horford's hands and he sets the play up, right? What up, Priceless? Dang gun, I haven't had power in 38 hours in Dallas. Dude, it's wild. It's actually wild. Like as much as I would love a burger right now, I'm okay eating these noodles and eggs and whatever I got. I'll trade the power and the internet for that. That's rough. My heart's out to all you guys that are living in the old west with no freaking power and stuff. What up, King Carter? Harden and Jokic are the studs with the highest ceiling on the slate. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo would be like, hey, I exist. Don't forget about him, man. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Memphis Grizzlies hosting the New Orleans Pelicans. Project starting 5 for the Pelicans. Lonzo Ball, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Stone Cold Steven Adams is going to get 1 board. What? Up against John Morant, Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen, Kyle. The Andersons got tickets to the game? How'd they get tickets? Jonas Valanciunas, a 231.5 total. This is a pick 'em. Chronic. This could be the easiest game stack in the history of ever, and it might just get lost in the sauce, right? Did I call you Chronic? Rods. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I called him my old co-host's name. Oh, please forgive me. Oh, no. No, but look at this game. Look at this game, man. Pelicans are, per possession, one of the worst defenses in basketball. We saw that put in practice with what the Mavs did the other night. The pace in this one isn't going to be crazy, but I could see some really, really high fantasy point production. I mean, Ingram, Zion, both there where we can get 40-plus fantasy points all day long, all day strong. And then I think you could throw one of these other Pelicans into the mix. Josh Hart, 4,600. He's projecting well for me. And then on the Grizzlies side, J-Val's just on a stretch of really, really solid games. John Morant, solid matchup.
I'm done with John Morant.
You're done with John Morant?
Nope, we're not playing John Morant.
Okay.
I'm done with John Morant. Done with Boogie Cousins. They're banned. They're banned for a while. Let's see some consistent games of winning slates.
Goldfish memory. Gosh, dang it.
No. I'm with Goldfish memory.
Okay. Well, if you don't have, you can have a deep memory on what the Grizzlies have done in the last couple of games, but man, some of the
favorite Grizzlies is Kyle Anderson. My favorite Grizzly is Kyle Anderson. He's having a stretch of games where he's just getting it done, points, rebounds, assists. Should play the minutes here. Going to be out there. So give me Kyle Anderson. Give me Brandon Ingram. Give me Zion. Call it a day from this game.
Last 5 point guards against the New Orleans Pelicans.
Not doing it, but let me know.
DeLon Wright, 34 DKP, 37 minutes.
Cool.
Luka, 80 and 41. It's Luka. Cool. We'll take that. We'll throw it out. Kobe White, 46 DKP, 35 minutes. Shot 8 for 17 from behind the arc. John Wall, 38.5 and 35 minutes. And then John Morant, 33 and 32 minutes. John Morant had 14 shot attempts that game. Yeah. I get it. You know, you touch the stove enough, it burns. But it's still a case in a game where there's no Desmond Bane, no DeAnthony Melton. I just wouldn't be surprised.
I think Kyle Anderson's playing some point guard because his assist numbers. I'll play Kyle Anderson.
What I would say with Kyle Anderson is kind of watch that situation. Brandon Clark did return. And there's a chance eventually he could just be the starting power forward, and maybe Anderson goes back to 3, Allen off the bench. I do think there's potential for change in this Grizzlies lineup soon, but I'm kind of with you there on Kyle Anderson. I think a full strength Grizzlies team really just has no one playing 30 or more minutes. Maybe John Morant, but from where we're sitting now, I think Anderson's kind of cool. for 30 minutes. And yeah, if you get a point per minute or greater, go for it. I don't know. I just think this game could be a little bit more scrappy than, and if it floats at a low ownership, maybe I have some game stacks of this one. And at the end of the day, I look back and Dylan Brooks hit 7 threes or something like that. And I don't know. I feel like I want a piece of that. But Brandon Ingram, Zion, 8-4, 8-2 on a slate where there's so much 9K plus lucrativity. Do you see yourself getting to a healthy amount of either?
I think both are pretty safe there for 40 plus. They're coming off of 2 elite matchups with Dallas and Detroit, 2 teams that play no defense. I mean, Memphis doesn't play great defense, but I think they're a little better than them. But I mean, they'll be in the pool, 8,200, 8,300, safe 40s, upside of 50. Just those 2 not playing any Lonzo or Bledsoe today.
Your mic's moving against your shirt or whatever. Pelicans allowing the most points via the 3-ball in all of basketball. Looking at live chat, Russell Miller says to look at Grayson Allen to take advantage of that stat. If we pull up Grayson Allen's last couple games here, finally getting some run. He's shot 3, 10, 12. There's 2 games in there with double-digit shot attempts from behind the arc. So, okay, I like that. I put that in my back pocket, fire him up, hope for 30 fantasy points. Good call, good take. Why are we talking? Chronic with his weed. Apparently, it's about to be 420, so 90% of my audience is about to fire one up. I don't know what I'm reading now.
Hey, let's go. I might have to join you.
No, I've never. We do not chat. I've never. Probably.
It's legal here in Canada, guys, so we do it on the regular.
Bunch of sinners is what you are. Gosh dang it.
It's God's plan. It's actually God's plan, from the earth.
I think you said God's plan, and I just thought some Canadians with basic Drake references for justifying. Hey, you probably shouldn't pee in the front yard. Hey, God's plan. This is what you used to. What's up, Mopar? Gorilla Glue vape now. I don't know what's going on in chat. Chat. What do we do? What do we got left? Let's do a plug. I'm gonna do a plug. Last night we had some fun sweats in the chat for prize picks. If you guys are like me, you don't have access to sports books. You can't go out there and parlay player props. There is an alternative for you. Help is on the way. PrizePicks.com. They allow you to bet on player props, which I feel like this is a great way to hedge and reward your research. We think Al Horford's assist prop might be something we could take advantage of, and if we play Al Horford in DFS at that price, and he drops 35, but he has 8 assists, he doesn't help us for DFS, but we can still maybe take advantage of those assist numbers and get rewarded for that. If you haven't seen Prize Picks, go check it out. Right now, if you sign up using code GUNDACKER, they will instantly match your initial deposit up to $100. You want to play $10, you can turn that into $20, make a couple fun cards. They allow you to prop bet fantasy score, which is based or the same as FanDuel scoring. They allow you to prop bet real points, real assists, real rebounds. And it's not just basketball. They have NHL. We saw NASCAR. I think they have League of Legends, stuff like that. And you guys can put different sports together, just like at the sports book, and put them together, parlay them. I definitely think the flex play is what people in the Discord are really, really liking. If you take that off, go back. If you click at least 2, you can bet the prop and choose whether you want to round robin it, flex play it, or something like that. The ceiling is a little bit lower, but of course you raise the floor a little bit. It's kind of like a cash game versus GPP. So essentially, if I wanted to bet that Peyton Pritchard has over 2 assists and RJ Hampton has over 1.5, I could either 2x my buy-in, which right now on $20 would be 40. Or I could 3x it by power playing it, and that just kind of goes up the more picks I add to the card. So let's say I want Jamal Murray over 4.5 assists. I can 5x it if all of them hit or if I stick with the flex play, it would be 2.25. I could add up to 4 for flex, which would pay out 5x on a flex play or 10x on a power play. And then if you add 5, you can only flex play it, but you have 10x upside still. So it is a fun way to diversify your daily DFS spend, and it's also a good way to at least give yourself a chance to reward the research that we're already doing, take advantage of the matchups that we already like. And I'll say this, Prize Picks has been good to me. Like, I like the people that work there. And I don't know if this is a knock or a plus on them, but like when news comes out, they don't just pull these lines off the board right away. Like when Kyrie gets rolled out, if I want to go bet some James Harden stuff and I log on the DraftKings Sportsbook, it's probably all off the board, which is on most sports books. But Prize Picks doesn't do that. They'll adjust when they get the new line, but they'll still let you take advantage of it. So if you're on your heels, on your P's and Q's when it comes to news, like last night when we get some play, like Joel Embiid out, there are some soft lines to go take advantage of right away. So kind of keep a Prize Picks tab open, and when stuff, news drops and stuff like that hits, you can get some softer lines and it becomes even more profitable. So check it out. Code Gundecker when you sign up. We do have a tab in the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet, the player props tabs, and I've even included the fantasy projected points to kind of give you a head start on maybe betting some overs and unders on there. See what you guys got in chat here. Stefan says, go look at J Val's last game against the Pelicans. Was it this season? If not, I do think it's not fair to go too far back on the Pelicans' center defense because Steven Adams didn't exist. But this season, J-Val dropped 36 in 24 minutes. So if that 24 becomes 30, that 36 could become 40, right? So per minute, he was pretty efficient. Conscious says, tell me your thoughts on John Concher. I see a spike in his charts tonight on DK 3100. I think he can hit 25 tonight. So maybe I'm sleeping on him because I do think he missed a little stretch. Has he been playing in the opposite of DeAnthony Melton? 214, 220. So he's been playing. I don't know, man. I don't really see a reason to overproject him here. So I don't see a reason to overproject him, so I probably don't play him. If you can't bet in your state, go to Bovada. I get what you're saying there, going to offshore bookie or whatever, but the withdrawal is like, I got to jump through hoops. I got to go meet some guy named Sal behind a dumpster by the Home Depot. Not the Home Depot by the Wendy's, the Home Depot by the IHOP, the second IHOP.
Really? Even in Bovada?
Huh? Yeah, you can't.
Bovada,
but it's not instant. And Bovada will restrict it when you're a winner. Trust me. But no, the reason like these sites are I like them more because the withdrawal is much faster. Right? I don't feel like I used to play poker professionally for like 6 months, and I once withdrew like a check, but it was like a check, and they tried to cover up, and it was like from a Korean medical supply company, and I had to like go and try to get it cashed. I felt so nervous. Like I felt like I was actually doing something like drug related. I was sweating. Like, will they?
What site was it? I mean, I took it out for PokerStars. Just went right to the bank account.
You're in Canada. Things are different in Canada.
True.
Okay.
Yeah. I hear you.
Not legal here, but if anyone asks for medical reasons, playing Boogie last night because I had bad memory. See your thing? I'm in Cali, that's why I have to go Bovada. Yeah. Anyway. What do we got here? We got one game left on the docket. I want to remind you guys right after this stream, well, about 30 minutes, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. Why does Discord keep going to the main screen? That doesn't make sense. If you guys want to come hang out with us, go to RunDFS.com. Oh man, Shady snitching. Make yourself an account at RunDFS.com. Go get yourself into the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. I think we have a really, really fun community of cats grinding everything. My boy Rich has been out here grinding the prop bets He's kind of really taken an affliction to that. And I like him a lot. I like his brain, the way he hunts out the props. So go check out what Rich has in the props betting channels. But if you guys want to hang out and voice chat with me, we'll be in there for the 2 hours leading up to lock today. If you guys want access to the spreadsheet, my player projections for FanDuel, DraftKings, Yahoo, and Prize Picks, and my personal player pool for FanDuel and DraftKings, I share it. This is my actual worksheet where I'm typing my player pool. You guys can cross-reference your pool to mine. It is a premium perk of having a sub at rundfs.com. Sign up, check VIP passes, try out the week pass, man. Come hang out with us. We'd love to have you. It doesn't matter what bankroll level you play out. We have millionaires in there. We have thousandaires in there. And we got people grinding the quarter arcade. I recently learned, Raj, that the quarter arcade on FanDuel went from 150 max to 20 max. And it's hurt the feelings of some people. So that's tough, and that kind of sucks because I every now and then I would try something new for baseball and a stacking technique, and I would jump in the quarter arcade down there. So hopefully they go back to 150 max. I don't know why they would downsize that, but it is what it is. Let's go move on to the last game here. Did you play cash games or both? I would I would have like 5 or 6 tables open, just grind. Sit and goes, and then I would play tournaments. I love tournaments because I'm competitive, but obviously tournaments are just, they could be 10-hour grinds if it's a rebuy table or something like that. But I've been out the loop for a while on poker. After Black Friday, I just kind of stepped backwards. Quick question: what are your thoughts on Daily Fantasy Nerd? I like to use several projection sites. I'm very unfamiliar with them, so I don't want to. I don't. I think I've heard of somebody. I think it might have been you in chat mentioned that you use their optimizer, but I'm not very familiar with them. I pretty much just use Fantasy Labs as my optimizer, and for projections, I'll kind of look at minutes projected from a couple sources, but I kind of use like my own algorithm or whatever for other stuff. But I think for the most part, these days a lot of the DFS content providing services are pretty much the same in terms of projections. Like there's not a lot of, if I go to Fantasy Labs, my projections are probably within 2 points of mostly everyone that they have. Maybe there's a couple of outliers. And then the optimizers are really just, if you have projections, your optimizers are going to spit out the best mathematical plays. So it's really just about personalities and then the sharpness. So I think one of the benefits we have at Run DFS is I'm chilling here and watching news, man. When somebody's out at everyone, this is who I think benefits, like Whiteside, or that one night Isaiah Roby was out. We were all over that. Like I was warning people an hour and a half in advance. I was like, hey, Roby is questionable. He's not on the court, blah, blah, blah. So we were able to take advantage of like a 40% Roby 0. I think that's where the edge is. So I don't really think there's a big gap otherwise. Anyway. Main event tonight. Brooklyn Nets at the Phoenix Suns. Project starting 5 for the Nets. James Harden. Bruce Brown, maybe? Joe Harris. Jeff Green. DeAndre Jordan. That could be Landry Shamet in the starting lineup. My projections here do not reflect Kyrie being out. That literally happened when I click live, so I didn't adjust. The Phoenix Suns project starting 5, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, McCall Bridges, Frank the Tank Kaminsky, DeAndre Ayton. We got a 231 total, and the Suns favored by 5.5. Now, that was before I went live, so let me see if we can adjust any of these numbers. I do feel like the Suns team total could go up. I also feel like the spread could change. So Vegas totals on Nets, and so we got a 226.5 total, and I got -7 for the Suns. So the total dropped 5 points, and the spread went up 1.5. That's fair. So I guess the question here is James Harden without Kyrie is under 11K. This is a guy that we've paid and played at 12.5K when he's in a spot like this. He's going against one of the toughest defenses in the league. The defensive rating for the Suns when they're full strength are really, really strong. Chris Paul, McCall Bridges. Is James Harden at 11K going to give us one of those 70, 80-point performances going against his old pal Chris? Or are the Nets on night 2 of a back-to-back with no defense. Are they going to get handled up here? And does Harden kind of hit the ice bucket in the fourth quarter? I think that's the question that we all ask ourselves. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer from where we sit now. I do think that my initial reaction to the news was like, oh, everyone's going to play Harden. I'll just go play Giannis. And then I thought I was sneaky. And then you guys kind of got me thinking that that's what everyone's thinking. So if we can get a situation where James Harden gets 20%, 25% or less projected ownership, maybe I'll just match the field on that because we know Harden can be great. Past Harden, it's hard to like any Nets here. Jordan's on a back-to-back. He's not much offensively anyway. It's not like a spot where we can go play Karis LeVert. I think it's like Landry Shamet and Joe Harris that you might maybe a Bruce Brown to pick up some scoring, and none of those guys make you feel great. I think Joe Harris has a chance to drop 20-plus real points, but we've talked about how scoring dependent he is from a fantasy perspective, and that really doesn't really do much for us if he has 20 points in like no peripheral. So the Nets are very hard to figure out. The Suns, if Kyrie was in, I thought this could have been a pay-up spot for Paul Booker where they could both have dueling 40-plus fantasy points. Teams just put up points against the Nets, and especially without their best defender, Kevin Durant. Even DeAndre Ayton, the rebounding percentages on the Nets are actually insanely bad. 20% offensive rebound rate, 77.5% defensive rebound rate. We saw what Hassan Whiteside was able to accomplish last night in minimal minutes. Like, this is a spot where all the Nets look good to me, but I also kind of have a thought that maybe this game just gets lopsided. I think this is such an interesting discussion. Raj, what do you do with Harden?
I mean, I feel like if you think this game stays close, you probably do like Harden, Joe Harris, and Jeff Green together in lineups. Bring it back with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, and you probably want some Ayton too, though he's probably my least favorite son. But if you think this game blows out, even in the blowouts, some of these Nets value guys, at least one or two of them get there. It could smash maybe a TLC or a Bruce Brown. So you have to have him. Harden, I think you could fade because there's other studs in great spots, and he could not get there if this game gets out of hand quick. But I don't think you could fully fade it.
I feel like my Harden exposure will be heavily contingent on the field's projected Harden exposure. Like, I feel like I just want opposite the field today, like almost no matter what. Like, my knee-jerk reaction was, it's probably not the best spot. They probably get smacked. But at the same time, if I get an opportunity to have a 20 or less % James Harden on the 6-game slate, which that's an obscure number. I feel like that's not happening, but if I get that chance, because everyone is thinking the same way, go get Jokic, go get LeBron, go get Giannis. And I think Giannis and LeBron make more sense right now, just matchup-wise, and the fact that, they're not on back-to-backs in better matchups. So if I'm letting that create my lineup here, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm leaning those two first. But the more I talk it out, the more I read chat, the more it seems like that's what everyone's thinking. So by default, I might just start Harden as a tier 3 just to have him. But if I saw Harden at like 40%, I might just take him out the pool and roll a dice, see what happens. If I go heavy on LeBron and Giannis. Out of curiosity, let me go pull up the Brooklyn Nets here. I don't know if there's any sample size of just Harden, but we'll go down the list here. Take off Kyrie, Spencer, Tarn Prince. I guess as long as Harden's on, I don't have to take anyone off from the trade. Basically, KD and Kyrie, we'll take them off. We'll put James Harden on. Kind of want to see what sample size of, if any, minutes-wise. 150 minutes, that's more than I thought. 120 offensive rating, 118 defensive rating, yikes. 32.5% usage rate over fantasy point per minute with a 57.5% assist rate. That's dirty. A 14% rebound rate, holy. Man. I think I just want to. I kind of just want to be off of Harden just because of the matchup. What I might do with that news though is I'm sure projection systems will really like James Harden. James Harden on Prize Picks is at 58 fantasy points. Do I bet the under with that little hunch? Maybe. That's something I'm thinking about on Prize Picks. So you guys let me know. And then like AK on Paul, I could see myself putting that AK somewhere else. I could see this. I got 9 men at 15 minutes or more essentially for the Suns. I feel like one of Booker 8, and I might be salty at the end of the night for not having exposure to. And maybe even a Chris Paul playing up against his old pal. But for the most part, like I'm not as high on this game as I was the Kings and Nets game last night. I just really think this is a uphill battle for the Nets. Chat, let me know if you're complete opposite to me. It's okay to love Harden tonight. It absolutely is. We're all here just kind of thinking a game theory in our own lane. What's up, Chad? Thanks for the new book recommendation. Do you guys have a link for Prize Bets? I don't think I've ever even heard of Prize Bets. Are they like affiliated with Prize Picks? If so, I'll have to reach out to the agent and see if I can get that going. If they are related, maybe you can just use Gundecker. But I'm not sure. James says, Gun, can you check Maladon's status? I'm on FanDuel right now, and the queue is gone. Let me see. Why is Discord keep coming to the main freaking screen? It doesn't make sense to me. I'll pull up the injury depth chart. Chat, you guys want to do me a favor? You want to hit that thumbs up? I don't know where we're at, but I feel like we could be higher. It's been a while since we hit a stream hit like 50 plus thumbs up, man. I feel neglected. We're looking for Maladon news, right? Let's see. OKC. Theo Maladon. Health and safety protocols, won't play versus the Blazers on Tuesday. So I got him out for health and safety protocols. Who knows what the rules are on that one. Betting my bankroll on TLC. Dario Saric, when he does good, eats into Kaminsky's time. Ayton is the play. Use Paul with him. I love centers against the Nets here. I think if I put 30 minutes on DeAndre Ayton, I like it. I like the handcuff call there with Chris Paul. Maybe run some, a highly correlated, maybe a pick and roll or assist goes to DeAndre. And then Devin Booker. I mean, Devin Booker's been out here, putting up 30-plus real point games. I think that last game was the first time he didn't drop was it 30 real points in a decent little stretch. Yeah, 36-30. So if he's going to give you 30 real point floors, I know there's a stretch there without Chris Paul, but this matchup is so elite. The minutes are high for him. I think Devin Booker could be just in-your-face 50, and maybe we're overthinking his click. But that's it, man. That is today's slate. I will be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord in about 20 minutes. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Usually Wednesdays are a little bit more abbreviated slate size-wise. Let me see what's on the docket there. We don't have an abbreviated slate. 2, 4, 6. Jesus, tomorrow's a giant slate. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 games tomorrow. I know we had a couple of games get pulled off, but I think they're already pulled off of here. So tomorrow could be a big slate. Thursday's just a 3-game slate. Friday is your boy's birthday, and this is the first time in my life I can remember basketball on my birthday. But I'll be here doing a live stream for that one as well. So I guess tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, right here on the channel. God willing that I have power. I'll be here grinding. We ain't got nothing else to do, right? But if you guys want to hang out with me a little bit more, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP voice chat in just a little bit, 20 minutes or so. Game 7 at Curtis. SGA playing. I have SGA out right now. Maladon listed out for Tuesday. Yeah, that's what I got too. The likes are at 55. Okay, we had over 55 likes. Let's go. I'm with it. But yeah, that's gonna do it here. I gotta pull up Discord and hang up and then play the song, because if I play the song while I'm in Discord, it shuts it off because it thinks I'm leaking music. It's so dumb. Anyway, I hope you guys crush it tonight. Twitter.com/Gundacker. Way to get out. Reach to me. DMs are open. Tweet at me. I would love to interact with you guys even more. That's it, right? I have no other alerts. I have no other news. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. Double check. Make sure you subscribe. Otherwise, man, I'll see you guys tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.